Yes, boys. And the bad news is Paul the Menace Venice is back. He's back from injury. Well, it's not bad news for us fight fans, boys and girls. It's bad news for the cruiserweights in the UK. So I was literally just doing my scrolling, sitting here chilling, thinking about a video to make. I was doing some research on Tenaglia versus Soto because they're having their rematch. And then I'm just watching a barbed wire barricade board Megatron exploding Japanese deathmatch. Because one of my guilty pleasures is Japanese deathmatch wrestling when there's nothing going on in the dark side. And scrolling, Paul Venis has popped up. Paul Venis. Now, the only thing I've heard lately of Paul Venis is that him and Brett May have made friends, but he said he's not actually made friends with Brett May. He just doesn't want to continue beef going back and forth because the fight's never going to happen because Brett's scared of him, obviously. That's fine. But he does want to punch Brett in the face, which is always good to know. Anyway, the good news is, not the bad news, the good news, he's back from injury. He's been injured for fucking ages. And there was a question marks about whether he was going to come back to fighting or not. Listen, a lot of people have got a lot to say about Paul Venis. I don't understand why. I don't understand why at all. You can say anything you want about Paul Venis. Most people do, but he seems like a really nice fella to me. The only thing I will say is no one can say anything about his fighting ability. And the only people that would are absolute dickheads, like people like Dr. Rackpool and Brett May. You can't question him. He's a Muay Thai legend in the UK, like K1 legend or whatever you say, kickboxing. He had about 50 fights. Like, the geezer's an absolute monster. So he's back from his shoulder injury. He's got 3 fights booked this year. Well, the 20th of June on Alpha Promotions, which is a boxing show, I believe, up north. Only a sort of small hall one. And I'm sure he'll get fed someone very easy just to get the ring rust off. Listen, he comes from a very, very good gym. He's got John Blank and Pick Jardine in there. They train killers, obviously. Look at Pick. Look at John Blank. Like, these are serious fighters. And Paul's been there for a long time. You see countless images of him, videos of him sparring and hitting the mitts and stuff, and they don't mess about. That John Blank is a fucking monster. Serious fella. Like, so he's got 20th of June Alpha Promotions. I'm sure if he does fight on this one, it would just be to knock the ring rust off, and it will be someone that he's very much expected to beat, and it will be a boxing match. I would have thought it won't. It will be. It won't be a bare knuckle fight. Then he's got August. He said his coach is arranging that one. That's going to be a tough fight, a bit of a test. So I can understand why he wants to get the first one in there, get the ring rust off, get the cobwebs out, knock the fear off, because I'm sure he's Listen, he's 40 odd years old, and he hasn't been in the ring for a very long time. So I'm sure he's a bit worried. Like anyone would be. I fucking would be for sure. Even when I was fighting regularly up until last year, mate, I was fucking terrified to fight. So it's natural for anyone to feel like that. So he'll get back into his groove. And then he said there's a bare knuckle show in September. Now, he didn't name the bare knuckle show. I'm not sure if he's talking about BKFC. I hope he is. Because he's too good to be made bad to the bone. They'd find him a good match. Obviously, BKB, BYB, whatever you know, they could find him a really good match. Obviously, of course they could. But other than that, there's nothing really out there for him. He's too good to fight on BK Sport or any of these smaller ones. I don't know, unless he wants to sort of easy a matchup. But I thought he was still contracted to the BKFC, and if that's the case, they're only going to have him back there. You can fight gloved elsewhere, but you can't fight bare knuckle elsewhere on your contract, and that's where he should be, really. Let's talk about the rankings in the UK, because I know Brett May come out and said, "Oh, I think he should fight Lorenzo Hunt." Yeah, because after 2 years out of the ring and a shoulder injury at fucking 42 years old, you're going to want to fight Lorenzo Hunt, aren't you? And Dave Feldman and Conor McGregor are just going to say, yeah, do you know what, mate? You fight Lorenzo. It's just ridiculous. What a stupid thing to say. Maybe one day, maybe next year, maybe he comes back, wins these 2 boxing matches, goes on a tear in the BKFC, which he could do, definitely. We'll talk about the UK fighters for now. You've got Andy Thornton and Matty Hill, which I think, if he gets through those 2 boxing fights and he comes back strong, those 2 are very, very winnable fights for him. Neither of them have fought for quite a while. they're all sort of. There's not really much. I'm talking about him coming back as a cruiserweight as well, because I really don't think he should come back as a heavyweight. I don't. I think, based off what he said in interviews and stuff, he probably hasn't got the punch resistance to come back as a heavyweight now at the age and all the damage he's taken over the years and everything. And that's not a slight on him. That's just after years and years of getting punched, and as you get older, it becomes more and more difficult to take a punch at that weight. He's not exactly a massive unit. He's probably only about 5'10", so he would be a particularly small heavyweight. Very much heavyweight power, which is why, and even better reason for him to go in at cruiserweight with heavyweight power. But maybe, based off what he said, he didn't, and he did get dropped in that fight against the Bulgarian at heavyweight. So I think he's just come back at cruiserweight. He could easily make the limit, whatever it is. I think 95 kilos or 205, whatever the equivalent is. But yeah, Andy Thornton and Matty Hill, they're both only Matty Hill's 1-1, I believe, and Andy Thornton's 1-0. So he's 1-0 in the BKFC. Both very easy, winnable fights. Well, not easy, of course, no fight's easy, but both very winnable fights for him to get one back on and get ranked back in that top 5. Then he's got Rob Boardman and Carl Thompson. Now, Carl Thompson is the clear UK number 1, who's 4-0, and Rob Boardman is a very good, very experienced fighter who's 6-1. So Carl Thompson's going to be looking to go. He's ranked in the world rankings now. He's ranked number 3, I believe. So he's going to be looking to go out to America. So I highly doubt they're going to give Venice one and then let him fight Thompson right away. They may well do, though, because he's got a very big profile, and they're trying to grow the sport. You know, he's got a big online profile, a big social media presence. So they could give him Thompson straight away. I don't think they will. I think they'll probably go Bosch and then give him Boardman. See how Thompson's going in the world rankings or whatever, and then we might be able to talk about a Thompson fight, and then we might be able to talk about Lorenzo Hunt fight. You know, this is going to be 3 or 4 fights down the line. How do I think he could do in the UK? I think he's more than good enough to beat all of them. I really, really do. How do I think he could do if you start bringing in the Americans? I really like Paul. I'm a big fan. I like all the UK fighters. Of course I do. I'm not knocking him, but is he the level of Lorenzo? I really, really doubt it. He could well be, you know, but at the age he's at, he's got one last crack at the whip, like he said, one last job bite of the apple. He's taken a lot of damage over the years. Lorenzo has got heavyweight power. He can jump up and down weights. He's just a different sort of animal, isn't he? I know he got knocked out by Mick Terrell, but Mick Terrell would knock anyone in the world out. We know that. So, you know, I just think Paul at his age is just not. Lorenzo isn't an option for him, really. But I feel like he could do really, really good things in the UK. And for the dark corner, it's good to see him back. I'm really, really excited to see how he gets on, boys. Thanks for watching. Tomorrow, Tony Soto, Franco Tenaglia, Mick Terrell the other day. It's all bare knuckle, actual proper fighters, not the jizz and fucking Dimitri Mushrooms. Hedgehog boxing. Boys, thanks for watching. Tell me what you think. How is Venice going to get on? Should they give him Fedor? Should they sign Fedor and give him Fedor Emelianenko at cruiserweight? Because Fedor was always quite a small heavyweight. You know, fucking hell, that could be a big money fight. That could see Venice made for life. Boys, let me know what you think anyway. I'm thinking out loud here, making up stuff. Adios, le Bosch.